Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm Moin Hettiarachchi.
And I'm Kasni Balachandra Adhikari. We start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
The People's Government completes 1 year. President Anukumar Dissanayake to attend the 80th session of the UN General Assembly in the USA. A program to ensure passenger safety on the Alla-Vellavaya main road. 2 stalled development projects of the Ampara Hospital recommences. A group of pilgrims face an unexpected incident. The US to impose a fee of $100,000 for H-1B visas. Now to those and more stories in detail. On today's top story, the National People's Power Government completes 1 year today.
Well, what are the changes that have taken place in Sri Lanka since then?
The view of the people in this regard, the future steps of the new government.
Well, this survey pertains to it. The foremost objective of the National People's Power Government is to transform Sri Lanka, our motherland, into an attractive state in the world map by uplifting it to a new level. Can it be a comfortable or a complex task to reach for a country which was pestered with corruption, fraud, wastage and drug menace for a number of decades to such a clearly targeted place? Anyway, the present government under the leadership of President Anukumar Dissanayake has already taken the responsibility and the onus on its shoulders. The citizens with a franchise in this country has awarded a historic mandate to the new government, not as an option, but as a long-standing solution to problems so far remained unresolved. Majority of the public was eager to elect the National People's Power Government as the most suitable solution to take the country, which was unstable with corruption, and raise it from the economic recession. At this moment, when the government completes 1 year, have the people found solutions for their problems? People say that a significant change has come in this country. The expected change has also been achieved and the program of the government is commendable, with relief to the people. This is the change we wanted. The main objective of the National People's Power Government is not to work within a limited and a short framework, but to provide most suitable solutions to raise the country above from the current situation. The second task is to take all necessary steps for the betterment of the country and to start that journey gradually. Minister of Labour Dr. Anujantha Fernando observed that the government had the responsibility of creating the background for calling investments again, and the government has done it. Inflation, foreign exchange ratio, the general interest rate of the country and several other factors have stabilised. The most colossal challenge Sri Lanka is facing at present is the economic recession. The task of the government to save the country from it is being carried out even at this moment. What is the progress after completion of the first year? Chief Executive Officer, Colombo Stock Exchange Rajiv Patanaik said that a more than 35% increase has been observed during the month of January this year in all shares of the Colombo Stock Exchange. It has doubled compared to last year, and the value of the rupee has also been stabilized along with political stability. The investors have gained trust through the stock exchange. The most valuable asset of a country are the children. In case whatever education system drafted for the generation of children, if it were to become a success, the future of the country will invariably be colourful. At this moment, when the National People's Power Government is completing its first year, it is also taking steps for a number of changes in order to introduce new educational reforms in Sri Lanka. The health system of Sri Lanka is also headed towards an unprecedented progress after setting aside an era where substandard pharmaceuticals were said to be procured in the past. Physical development is a foremost factor which illustrates the progress of a country. Within Sri Lanka, several mega steps of development were taken place during the recent times. One of the steps is the further strengthening of the bridge of unity between north and south of the country, and to take necessary steps to provide an international cricket stadium to the northern province for the first time. The Jaffna International Cricket Stadium will be constructed in the Mandathiv Island as the 7th International Cricket Stadium of Sri Lanka. The stadium accommodates 40,000 spectators in one attendance. The foundation stone was laid under the leadership of President Anurukumar Dissanayake. A chain of development projects have already been initiated and by now giving priority to the construction of rural roads, bridges and other essential constructions island-wide. Although the central bus stand in Petta is not an attractive place today, it will become an eye-catching scene within a few months. Another interesting project commenced recently has been the modernization of 100 railway stations all over the country under Dream Destination. The general public can be witnessed now the implementation of a host of new projects through the country and the restart of development projects which were stalled so far by stabilizing the economy of the island. Everything is in place now and to start the reconstruction work of the Central Expressway and the Ruanpur Expressway. Clean Sri Lanka has been one of the major national programs of the National People's Power government. In short, the main objective of this program is to inculcate mental and spiritual development through better ideals. Parallel to the physical development of the country, Clean Sri Lanka project is now on an unstoppable journey. The drug menace is an extremely serious problem which has engulfed the entire country and has to be solved collectively by all security agencies of the country and the citizens as a link of the same chain. Police media spokesman ASP F.U. Butler pointed out that Sri Lanka Police, the Special Task Force and Anti-Narcotic Bureau as well as the 3 armed forces are carrying out a special operation these days under the supervision of the Inspector General of Police. As a result of this combined operation, all criminals will be followed who have committed crimes such as rape, theft, looting, fraud, criminal misuses and breach of trust. Heroin, cocaine, kush and ice narcotics including other drugs were recovered in large stocks during the recent past. Various drug smugglers in various names are conducting drug peddling within the country and from outside the country. One and only objective of the present government is to exterminate the entire drug net from the country. Some of the most striking recent successful operations have been the extradition of 5 major drug traffickers off the drug net to Sri Lanka. The government has initiated the digitalization project as another major project of the government in order to make all sections of the country efficient, which is also gaining successful progress. The tourism industry, agriculture and the industry sector have achieved a commendable progress during the last year. Nearly 1.6 million foreign tourists have arrived in the island so far during this year. The renovation of the entire tank system of the country to make the country self-sufficient in rice and to achieve food security is now being carried out. Cultivation has been further encouraged by paying compensation to those farmers whose crops were damaged and subsidies in fertilizer and other areas for the farmers. Some other positive steps which could be observed during the past year has been the recommencement of closed industrial houses. Another notable feature has been the bridging of the gap in the budget and taking steps to provide relief to the public by curtailing tariffs and reducing inflation. Another striking feature fulfilled by the government during the past year has been the highest salary increase implemented so far in the history to the government employees and to stabilize the taxation process. Another recent phenomena has been the confirmation of rule of law in the country, irrespective of the status of persons. The new government has been successful in achieving a number of victories both nationally and internationally.
In the meantime, President Anurukumar Dissanayake will be leaving for USA tomorrow night to participate in the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly. The President will address the UN General Assembly at 3:15 p.m. US time on the 24th of this month. President Anurukumar Dissanayake will join bilateral negotiations with the General Secretary of the United Nations and several other world leaders. The President will also participate in a meeting with Sri Lankan diaspora in the USA. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism, Vijit Hera, is also participating in the official tour with the President.
The Road Development Authority has taken measures to implement an extensive program to establish safety of passengers travelling on the Allavallavaya road. One of the measurements is to construct protective soil boulders along the road where threats exist. Construction of a water drainage system is also being constructed these days. The main objective of these activities is to minimize dangers on the Allavallavaya road. In a road accident occurred on the 5th of this month between the 23rd and 24th kilometer posts of this roadway, 16 passengers were killed and 17 others were injured. this serious accident has triggered to take special precautions to ward off the occurrence of such tragedies in future.
Now for several development news items. 5 rural roads in Mathura districts are planned to be carpeted. Carpeting of the Narandeniya Burukale Road in Kamarupitia has gone underway. Under the direction of the parliamentarian Professor L.M. Abhayavikrama, a sum of 430 million rupees is being implemented under the World Bank aid. Another road development project in Mathura district got underway yesterday. The Murugamulla Galbokka Road of the Paskoda Pradesh Sabha is being developed with carpeting. A sum of over 280 million rupees is being set aside for reconstruction of the 5-kilometer road. Deputy Minister Gamagadaran Disanaika presided over the commencement of a project to reconstruct carpeting of the road in Mathale, which has been estimated to spend 41 million rupees to reconstruct a distance of 2 kilometers. Parliamentarian Ruan Tilaka Jaikodi presided over the event to declare open 2-story community hall building in Asagirwal Pola in Minuangoda today.
Work has resumed on 2 stall development projects at the Ampara District Hospital. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa has presided over the event to recommence the abandoned projects. The 2 stall construction projects at the hospital were the Emergency Accident and Treatment Unit and the Catheterizing Laboratory Complex. A sum of 950 million rupees will be spent on the Emergency Treatment Unit. The amount allocated for the Catheterizing Laboratory Complex is 354 million rupees. Both projects are scheduled to be completed by next year. In addition, the internal road network of the hospital will also be remodelled. An ambulance with latest technological facilities and a mobile laboratory vehicle were handed over to the hospital on this occasion. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa said that there had been building of which construction stalled halfway. The minister has pointed out that construction of the emergency treatment unit completed in 2022 as scheduled, only 873 million rupees would have been needed to complete the project. Early in 2022, only 354 million rupees was scheduled to have been allocated for completion of the laboratory complex. However, due to the delays, the expenditure has increased to 720 million rupees. And the minister added that as a result, the treasury was compelled to shoulder a 2-fold additional burden.
A fire that erupted in a 2-story building in First Coast Street in Petta last evening has been completely extinguished. Our correspondent says several nearby buildings were also damaged due to the spread of the fire. The police says the First Coast Street in Petta has been temporarily closed. All stories of the building engulfed by the fire were reported to be fully destroyed. Many damages have been occurred due to adjoining buildings as a result of the collapsing walls of the building destroyed. Around 25 brigades were used in the dousing the fire. The fire service department personnel were assisted by Air Force, Navy and police to quench the flames. Removal of debris of the building damaged by the fire has been carried out. One of the destroyed shops were fully dismantled and removed. Our correspondent says investigations are conducted by several divisions to determine the cause of the fire.
And here's more local news items in brief. A stock of Kush and Hashish narcotics were found in men's laboratory number 5 of the arrival terminal at the Kotnaika airport. The police says value of the contraband was around 16.84 million rupees. 422 grams of Kush and more than 1 gram of Hashish were recovered. A suspect has been nabbed with a stock of stolen equipment from housing and business places in many areas including Avisavella. The Avisavella headquarters police station has conducted the raid upon interrogation of a suspect taken into custody in connection with keeping in possession a stock of narcotics. The value of the stolen goods was reported to be nearly 4 million rupees. Presentation of certificates to wildlife rangers who had successfully followed the Wildlife Management Junior Certificate course conducted by the Department of Wildlife Conservation had been taken place at the Wildlife Research and Training Centre in Giritale recently. Chief guest on the occasion was Minister Dr. Dhammika Padapadige. Passing out parade of officials who have been trained under number 52A and B Commando Regiment training course was conducted under the leadership of the Army Commander at Kudaya Commando Regiment Training School premises yesterday. Nuwara wildlife officials have been successful in rescuing with great effort of a mountain tiger injured which was fallen down a stone quarry in Holbrook in Agrapatani yesterday. The tiger was brought to the Randanigala Veterinary Medical Hospital for further treatment. A bus carrying a group of pilgrims was reported to have been attacked by a tusk elephant in Sithopawa this morning. The bus was said to have been damaged due to this unexpected incident. However, nobody was injured in the incident, and a passenger in the bus had recorded the attack through a mobile phone. The Industries Expo 2025 industrial exhibition, which depicts the strength of local industrialists, was successfully concluded at the PMICH premises in Colombo today. The local brand name Melwa has sponsored this year's exhibition as well. A special feature has been the addition of Meldon brand name to the exhibition for the first time.
Final rites of the remains of the late Suranga Vellalage, the father of the national cricket teamer Dunit Vellalage, was conducted at Rawathavat General Cemetery today. The body of Suranga Vellalage was brought in procession via motorcade to his alma mater, Prince of Wales College, Moratuwa, from a private funeral parlour. Thereafter, the cortege left to Rawathavat General Cemetery, where the cremations took place. A large group, including prominent Sri Lankan cricketers, attended the funeral.
Foreign news right after this break.
Non-foreign news. At least 3 people were killed in a massive overnight Russian aerial attack in Ukraine.
More than 30 have been injured from the strike. President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that regions across the country were targeted as a part of a deliberate strategy to intimidate civilians and destroy country's infrastructure, with one direct missile hit reported on a residential building. Ukraine military has indicated that Moscow launched 619 drones and missiles. Russia's defense ministry said its massive strike used precision weapons and targeted military-industrial facilities. Separately, Russia has said that 4 people were killed in a Ukrainian drone attack on the Samara region. Kyiv said it hit a major oil refinery in the region. US President Donald Trump has signed an executive order that will add a $100,000 fee for applicants to the H-1B visa program for skilled foreign workers. President Trump's order has mentioned abuse of the program and will restrict entry unless payment is made. Critics have long argued that H-1Bs undercut the American workforce, while supporters argue it allows the US to attract top talent from around the world. President Trump's order is due to come into force on September 21st. It would only apply to new requests. The $100,000 fee would be a one-time payment. Since 2004, the number of H-1B applications has been capped at 85,000 per year. Until now, H-1B visas have carried various administrative fees totaling around $1,500. Data from U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services shows that applications for H-1B visas for the next fiscal year fell to about 359,000, a 4-year low. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has announced the UK's recognition of a Palestinian state in what represents a significant change in government policy. In a video statement, the UK Prime Minister stated that in response to the escalating crisis in the Middle East, the government is taking action to preserve the possibility of peace and a two-state solution. Australia and Canada also announced formal recognition of the state of Palestine today, with Portugal expected to follow. The UK Prime Minister said in July that the UK would shift its position unless Israel met several conditions, including agreeing to a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip and committing to a long-term peace process leading to a Palestinian state coexisting alongside Israel. The Israeli leadership has ruled this out since the start of the war following Hamas's attack in southern Israel. The Premier's move has drawn a fierce criticism from the Israeli government and some conservatives.
Spain's Madrid's Zoo Aquarium held a series of celebrations Saturday for the 5th birthday of its two giant pandas, Jinxi and Zuyu, drawing crowds of visitors eager to share in the occasion. Jinxi, a male panda, and female panda Zuyu, both born in 2020, arrived in April of last year in the zoo following the renewal of its agreement for giant panda protection with the China Wildlife Conservation Association. According to the agreement, the pandas will remain in Spain for a period of 10 years. The celebration featured specially crafted birthday cakes made for pandas' favorite treats, including fresh bamboo and watermelon. Visitors of the zoo have also expressed their affection for the animals. In addition, Chinese performers delivered a wonderful acrobatic show in honor of the occasion. Giant pandas are known as cultural ambassadors to China for the worldwide. Since 1990s, China has carried out joint protection research initiatives with 26 institutions from 20 countries and successfully bred over 60 giant panda cubs.
The 23rd Kunming International Flower Expo kicked off on Friday in Kunming, capital of southwest China's Yunnan province, attracting more than 500 enterprises from around the globe. The three-day exhibition features a display of 4 major industries: flowers, coffee, tropical plants and small berries, offering visitors a glimpse into the charm of Yunnan's agriculture. The expo brings together leading flower businesses from China and other major producing countries and regions, along with buyers from across the globe. This year, France is the guest of honor, as China's flower capital Yunnan has become a major hub for both production and trade. In 2024 alone, the province produced more than 20 billion stems of fresh-cut flowers and exported them to over 50 countries and regions. In recent years, Yunnan's favorable climate and investment environment have attracted a growing number of international industry leaders, creating a vibrant and blossoming floral industry. And in your sports news tonight, Bangladesh achieved a 4-wicket victory over Sri Lanka yesterday in a match of the Super 4 group of the Asia Cup T20 cricket tournament.
The match was played in the Dubai Cricket Stadium. A 1-minute silence was observed before the commencement of the game for Suranga Velalage, the father of Dunit Velalage, who passed away recently. Bangladesh, after winning the toss, invited Sri Lanka to bat first. Pathum Nisanga and Kusal Mendis opened the innings and put up a score of 44 runs partnership for the first wicket. Pathum Nisanga was out for 22, while Kusal Mendis scored 34. Dasun Shanaka, the top scorer for Sri Lanka, scored his 6th half-century in T20 cricket by scoring an unbeaten 64 runs, which included 6 sixers and 3 fours.
Goes over the top on the leg side. Pathum Nisanga. Now this should be taken. Yes. He comes down the track and he's cleared long on.
Sri Lanka scored 168 runs for 7 wickets in their 20 overs. Mutafir Rahman claimed 3 wickets. Later, chasing the victory target, Bangladesh won the match by scoring 169 runs for 6 wickets in 19.5 overs. Zaif Hassan scored 61, while Tawhid Hirodi scored 58. In bowling, Vanidu Hasaranga and Dasun Shanaka both obtained 2 wickets each.
Really nicely played. He has been superb. His teammates in the dugout.
For Sri Lanka, the second match in the Super 4 group will be played against Pakistan on the 23rd, while the third match will be played against India on the 26th of the month.
Will this be taken? Yes, it is. That's what they're after. Ball. Another one.
I think he's out. Top 2.
They run. Oh, Bangladesh are home. Shamim took off.
Sri Lanka under-19 women's cricket team beat the Australia under-19 by 29 runs in the second T20 international played today. The match was played at the Double International.
And they managed to go 2-up Sri Lanka, carrying home the victory.
That's it for tonight's English News telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.